We're live. So, welcome everyone to this podcast, Viz and Vibes, a DataFam Europe recap. So, what I wanted to do is to get a bunch of people that went to DataFam Europe and to talk about their experience. Selfishly, because I want to go.
We were expecting you, Dawn. What happened?
I don't know. So, what was your... Okay, I'll ask the first question that I've pre-scripted to you all. So, what advice would you give someone attending DataFam for the first time? And I will turn it over to Steve. Would you like to say?
For the first time, it's a relatively small event, but like any event, I think it's worth planning in terms of thinking about what you're going to turn up and what you're going to do. Not necessarily because it's overly complicated, but just because if you don't have to think about that element, it means you can focus more on meeting everybody else while you're there as well. Because the DataFam itself is a great opportunity to meet people that you think you know, meet people that you definitely do not know, and meet people whose names you recognize but you don't know anything about them as well. So I mean, if you plan that event, then it gives you an opportunity to focus more on the socializing side of it as well. That's what I would say.
And I should back up a little bit and say, Steve, Viz DJ, who are you?
Now you're asking me questions I definitely don't know the answer to.
No, that's right. Okay.
I don't know who I am. I'm Steve Adams, based in the UK, Birmingham. Neil and I always joke about this, but Birmingham, UK, as opposed to Birmingham, Alabama, that is, obviously. And I'm a Tableau trainer and have been for about 10 years now.
You're also my LinkedIn bestie. I think you should.
Oh, yeah. I should have mentioned that, shouldn't I? I'm just your bestie on LinkedIn, and that's all anybody needs to know. Yes, indeed. And of course, you and I shared the stage at TC San Diego this year, which was absolutely fantastic. Twice, because we were so popular.
Yes.
No, I enjoyed it.
That was a fun session. Yeah. Neil, I will hand it over to you. First,
the surprise guest, by the way, the surprise guest.
Surprise guest, Neil.
Yeah. So you want me to tell you who Steve Viz DJ is, or who I am?
Yeah, please.
I was going to claim not to even know him till he gave the notice then. But as for me, I am a guy who's been doing Tableau for ages. I live in the UK, up in Derbyshire. I'm currently just kind of trying to decide what I'm doing next in my Tableau life. I am a Hall of Fame visionary, which I kind of explain to people. Doesn't mean I'm good; it just means I'm old, or it means I love it and have been using Tableau and showing off about it for a very long time. But that's kind of me, and I'm trying to focus a little bit more on data literacy, data fluency training, all that kind of thing. So hopefully in the new year I'll have a better version of me that'll be out, putting the world to rights. To answer your question, I can't remember if you asked it, but to answer your question about sort of what advice I would give to someone, I mean, Steve has pretty much got it summed up. A little bit of planning, but don't be too overwhelmed. It can seem really overwhelming, going to a conference where even though it's smaller scale than your big TC, where everybody is there and everybody is there because they're connected by this this piece of software. If you've done a bit of planning and you think, well, I want to go to that and I want to go to that, then don't worry too much about the other stuff. And again, as Steve said, find out who you can meet, and people will help you meet. You might think, all those podcasts you've seen, that amazing website. You see that bald guy over there? That really is Ken. Come on, I'll let you talk to him. You'll find that everyone is really approachable. You find that people just are there because they love Tableau. So if everyone wants to meet somebody new who loves the software as well. So I would just say that, see who you can meet, but don't be too overwhelmed. Plan the bits that you want and then let the rest kind of just happen.
And for anybody that's watching, Neil is also fashionably modeling some swag that he got from DataFam Europe. So want to call out the swag And
well, I will. I'll call out the fact that I'm 53 and I've never had my name and fashion mentioned in the same sentence. So this is what DataFam will do for you. But this is one of the many sort of cool things that they had. You can actually make your own. They had a number of logos and a number of different things that they could make and print it on for you right in front of your eyes in 2 minutes flat. So we've got a bit of a. I thought this looked most like one of my visualizations. So I thought we'd go with that. DataFam Europe.
Nice. And then Chris, over to you. Who you are, and what advice would you give?
So I'm another Tableau stray dog off the street joining the podcast here. I've been doing Tableau for about 15 years. I've been in analytics for about 30. Really do love data. It really is a part of my daily life. Run several Tableau user groups, and then I've been teaching it at local universities for the better part of 3 years. This was my first DataFam Europe. And honestly, this is my first time to the UK. So it was great.
And possibly your last, Chris. We're not having you back.
There's so many things I didn't see when I was there the first time. I'm actually looking forward to coming back.
Cool.
So it's a much more intimate experience, DataFam Europe than TC. I think, being a person, and I live on the West Coast. I'm out of Southern California near San Diego. And it's an 8-hour time difference. So what I would do is I would plan at least a day early to get yourself acclimated so you don't hit that proverbial or sometimes physical wall of what the hell time it is for your body. Get yourself some time to really acclimate to what's going on, and then be ready for the festivities, because there are a lot of festivities, even for a small conference. It actually is much more important for you to be very present, because you're going to be closer and intimate with so many people, so many contacts that you wouldn't see in TC at San Diego. And definitely, if there is some overlap, you won't get them in the same kind of access to them that you would normally in something that has 10 to 15,000 people there. It's an experience everybody should have. If you're part of this DataFam and it runs through your veins, like the four of us and probably most of you who are watching, I think it's a bucket list thing that you need to do. London is absolutely one of my favorite cities, even having been there just one time. I want to go back. I want to immerse myself more into it. But the experience of sharing Tableau's work in there is second to none.
So for those of you watching, DataFam Europe takes place in usually like November, December in London. I didn't know about it until TC 25 this year, when I had an outing with Steve and some friends, and they were telling me about it. Tor was someone who was talking about it. I was like, what is this? What is DataFam Europe? It's only been my second, Tableau conference. So it was like, what is this other fun thing to do in the same year? So I didn't get a chance to go. So I really wanted to pick everyone's brain on this event. I've seen pictures online. It's much, much smaller than Tableau conference. I don't know what the stats were at Tableau conference. Is it like 20,000, 30,000 people?
Oh gosh. I don't know if it's that much yet. I think it got to that point.
Okay.
Post-COVID now, I think we got to, I know there was probably 12 to 15,000 last year. I'm not sure how it'll be this year. I can only imagine it increasing. Maybe 15 to 18. But San Diego, everyone wants that sunshine.
And good old ChatGPT just said that DataFam Europe was just over 1,000 employees. So a much smaller group, which is more intimate, which is, coincides with what everyone is saying. So you get a chance to talk to people you want to talk to, instead of maybe spending 3 days and not ever running into the person that you want to run into at Tableau conference. So DataFam Europe does sound like a fun event to go to.
And I think there's a key thing for me is the fact that, I mean, when I said plan, I didn't mean plan back to back either. You want to plan gaps because DataFam Europe, you really do get the opportunity to bump into people during the day. And it's a social thing during the day, whereas TC, you tend to do that social bit at night, and you're running around the place scheduling different things during the day. So it was really nice. I mean, Chris and I bumped into each other for the very first time properly, and it was fantastic. We sat down and we just, Chris listened to all the rubbish that came out of my mouth, and then it was great for me, to have somebody to listen to me for a change. But no, seriously.
Definitely not rubbish. Definitely not rubbish. I will say that you can walk by Rekha and have a conversation with her. It's just, that's the kind of, you can walk by Steve, you can walk by Neil, and literally sit down and have a talk for 20 minutes over, coffee, or over, some of the food at DataFam Europe was actually really spot on. But you can just have a conversation with, people who, if you were to run into them at Tableau conference, you would be accosted by thousands of others, and it wouldn't be, you'd have to plan someplace outside of the venue to have a real meaningful conversation. You don't have to do that here at DataFam Europe, which is just the access to people. It's much more manageable.
And before we went live, there was some conversation about a certain famous Tableau person, Andy, who had a book signing. I don't know if anybody has the book.
Are we doing this?
Yes, we can. You can do
Mine's
the book.
not with me. That's so unfair. We've all got one. We know, but I'm
Andy,
the guy doesn't need any more publicity, but there's the book.
That's true. That's true.
It's a great.
Dashboard that deliver. We were just talking about that before we went live. So answered my question about what advice you would give people, attending for the first time. And you talked a little bit about the overall vibe. It's London, it's the winter time. Is it rainy? Does that impact the vibe? Was it cold?
But the venue itself was like a warehouse. So we're talking high ceilings and we're talking lots of space. So it was actually quite cold even inside, I think. And I think a lot of people were a bit taken aback by that. Even the locals, even the locals like me. But it's the vibe, I think, is a key word for me. I think there is a really nice vibe going on. I enjoyed it. Just to be clear, I mean, DataFam Europe itself isn't that old an event, but it's really just a rehash of a for the people, by the people, for the people event, which was called Visit beforehand. Visit, which has been in London, but it's also been in Berlin as well, and other places. So you mentioned London. I don't know whether it's going to be London next year. But there's definitely going to be another one. Is it going to be in London as well, is it?
I think so. I think the venue is going to be different.
Okay.
So it won't be at Tobacco Dock, but I do know that there's going to be another DataFam Europe, and I believe it's going to be in London. I just don't know where. I think they're kind of working through that. Yeah. Which is great.
If I'm honest, and Neil and I actually exchanged on this beforehand, not before today, but before the event itself. But I do think that the name of the event was a little bit off-putting. I think because we want not just DataFam people there, we want new people into that community, and they probably don't call themselves DataFam members.
Yeah. And just to agree with you, because you mentioned that it was previously a smaller community-led event called Visit. Then prior to COVID, there was actually a TC Europe. And TC Europe most years was in London, but another year it was in Berlin too. And that was more of a full-blown Tableau conference, but with smaller numbers. So probably about the same kind of numbers that we had now. So this felt like it had gone kind of full circle, because there has been a previous TC Europe in that very venue. I was getting kind of nice, almost deja vu, thinking, oh yeah, I was here in 2016. So it's gone the event has gone full circle, and it's so good to see it come back as strong as it always was. But this is, I guess, is its third kind of branding, and DataFam is trying to kind of focus on the community, and I think in many ways it hits that on the spot. But I wonder if the branding not being TC is perhaps getting fewer, more regular users, more sort of client users who don't consider themselves part of the community per se. So I think that every iteration is probably going to be worked on, maybe going to be a bit different. As Chris said, the hint was strongly, this was great, we're coming back. There will be another event in London just as good next year. Maybe it'll be at a different venue because maybe we'll have a different number of people, or maybe we'll have a different audience, etc., etc. So it's good to know that it's back and it's strong, but I guess it's continually evolving.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is that this is one of the things I spoke to at Dreamforce about the DataFam being inclusive to everybody. This is, if you're listening to this, you are a part of this if you want to be a part of it. You don't have to have like some sort of registration card or some sort of like private knock on the door to get into this club. It's data for all. So please come join us. The more the merrier. I mean, you're part of this future of what analytics is about. So DataFam is very much open arms. Please come and join us. That is not, you don't have to have permission. Just be ready to geek out with a whole bunch of data people that are just like you in a lot of common denominator ways. So.
And that's kind of how I met Chris and Steve. It's all through random interactions. Chris I met, and I dare I say it, Alteryx Inspire. I met him for the first time at Alteryx Inspire, and then I saw him the next year at Tableau Conference, and I was like, Chris, hey, Chris, didn't I see you at Alteryx? And then Steve, I met him at my first Tableau Conference. And then I was like, Steve, and then from there, so Neil, it's just waiting for us to meet in person at a future Tableau Conference. It'll happen. You'll have some random Dawn-ness come your way.
It'll be worth the wait.
So, I remember meeting you the first time very well. It was in a bar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dawn?
Yeah.
And it was the ice bar, I seem to remember. And you're wrapped up
Oh,
in
yes.
yeah, really, really warm outfit with a glass of ice and maybe some alcohol in there as well. I don't know. But I remember.
We don't do that here. No alcohol's allowed in the ice bar.
Very interesting.
If you come to London in the winter, every bar's an ice bar.
That's true.
You can recreate your own experience.
The weather wasn't that bad. I mean, it was maybe it was cold when I landed, but in the scheme of things, I saw the sun pretty much 5 out of the 7 days I was there, and it was in the low 50s, upper 40s, which is plenty fine. It's it was great. So I mean, don't. Just come for the experience. London's probably the most fast-moving city you'll ever be in. It's just pace, and there's a lot to see. So
maybe a market for DataFam alpaca sweaters. So if you bring those, you can get a little bit
overcoats. Pack a sweater. Pack a portable umbrella for those flash rainstorms that you may get. But
Chris, you had 4 bags of swag already. If you have alpaca sweaters and overcoats, you'll be on like a 6th and 7th and 8th bags.
And I have 3 umbrellas from DataFam Europe, so there you go.
3 umbrellas.
Chris always gets the swag. He did at TC. He was did you get the pink DataFam sweatshirt? Did you get that, Chris?
Yes. I'm a straight dog. They let me to any conference nowadays. But they pick up all this swag. I have swag. I'm gonna have to have a section of swag. That I have all sorts of DataFam colors there. Yeah.
Awesome. So when you went, did you connect with anyone interesting? Well, obviously, Chris connected with Steve and Neil, but did you connect with anybody else interesting at DataFam Europe? Chris, I'll let you go first.
Everybody I really connected with was interesting in the sense that I met new people. I hadn't talked to Will Sutton. Like I've not had a conversation with Will Sutton. And that was really amazing. I mean, Sarah Bartlett, she and I kind of, we pass in like ships in the night. We can chat when we can, but to actually sit down to have a talk, that was afforded in a place like DataFam Europe. We could do that during the off times in between sessions. That's what makes this event so special. I like to really just talk to people. I mean, we're social beings. Zoom is okay, or Teams, or whatever your video conferencing of choice, but I could accomplish more in a 10, 15-minute conversation face-to-face with somebody and learn about or at least the foundations of what they stand for and how we can carry on. And how we can, kill it next year, figure out what to do. Like, what do we want to see? What do we want product to do? How can we get more of what we want at TC and DataFam Europe? Like, what do we want to see there? I will always say these are some of the smartest people in the world that come to these conferences, and I'm blessed to be a part of that. And I just want to absorb as much as I can and hopefully give out as much as I get back from individuals I cross paths with. So that part of it is very rewarding to me. It's one of the more, I would say it's probably top 5 tech conferences I've been to because of that aspect alone. Being able to simply have a call, talking with Steve, talking with Neil, I'm immediately smarter because I've had that interaction, because I hear things from a different perspective that I've never had before. And I take that very seriously. So thank you both, actually. So, and everybody else I interacted with.
Steve, did you talk to anybody interesting?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I didn't. No, it's a challenging question for the very simple reason of what we've said already, which is the fact that you actually speak to a lot of people at the end of the day. And you do, as Chris has just said, get a chance to speak to them properly as well. But for I suppose if I have to come up with a specific example, I'm currently one of the Tableau user group leaders for the UK healthcare, and we had the first opportunity to take a photo shoot of the original people that created that tug and the current people as well. So we had people like Ella Worsdale was there, we had Simon Beaumont, we had Chris Dixon, then there was Sarah Skelchi, there was Charlotte Shearsby and myself, all in that one photo, which are all the people that have, well, most of the people that have been Tableau user group members for that, and that was really nice. We just happened to be there, right? So we managed to get that photo shooting because it's the event for people to go to. But then just those corridor moments, great to see people like Tristan and Jessica and Sarah Bartlett, as you mentioned. It's always nice to see people like that there. The real stars that were always there as well. And unfortunately, Neil and I met each other as well at the coffee stand, I think it was. And Pablo Gomez, we had a great chat with Pablo and Neil and myself, talking about how we can support individuals within that community as well. And Chris, when we met, I mean, it wasn't just me and you, it was Manny was at the table. It was lovely to meet him. And of course, Shazira, who's always an absolute star whenever you meet her. She's always got a great smile, great sense of humor, and so much value to bring to the table as well. So I cannot pinpoint one person. Absolutely not. It was just lovely to meet so many people.
Neil, do you have anything to add?
I had a list of about 30 people here, and I've been crossing them off one by one as the other guys were saying it and cursing him more and more. But no, that's not true. I mean, from my point of view, there was kind of 2 ways. And one of the things that was really important for me was I've been to lots of the conferences in the US, but I haven't been to the last couple. And so this felt like a really good chance for me to catch up with old friends. You know, my Tableau network are my friends, and it was a really good chance to, you know, people who I hadn't seen for maybe 2 years, 3 years, and just it was as if we'd just been chatting the day before, that kind of thing. I won't go into kind of all the names. Steve's mentioned many of them, but it was really a good opportunity for that. And the other thing that I would say is that one thing that I noticed was how many people were over from the US and how many people were over from Salesforce, from Tableau, giving it their time. And Chris yourself, obviously, but people like Matthew Miller was there, Ryan Ate. I was in a roundtable discussion, and our little group was led by Tara Morton, who'd come all the way over from Tableau as well. And it was just great to have some of these conversations with people I wasn't expecting to necessarily be able to talk to, and it really gave the sort of validation as to how much time and resource that Tableau wanted to give this. So yeah, and just always good to see friends from different countries. And yes, I'll stop there.
So what is your single biggest takeaway from DataFam Europe? If you could come up with just one takeaway, what would it be? Steve, I'll let you go first.
Shall I be controversial?
Well, you do have a background that says dashing through the nose, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, a realization that actually dashboards aren't dead, but they might be in the future.
Oh.
So, and I mean that in a positive way. So, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I do Tableau training, and all I do is help people make better dashboards. So, for me to say that's more like a realization that there is a change on the horizon, and we shouldn't fight change. We need to realize that there's a sea of change, and for me to realize, I think as I did during this event more so than I had before, that I personally need to understand more about what that change is and which direction it's going in and what the different directions may be. And I think it's good because at the end of the day, my passion is about, just like Chris said earlier on, it's about data. It's about getting more value from data, and it's about helping people drive better decisions and improve performance, however you define performance. And we've used data visualization to facilitate that process. And there are many ways where visualization is no longer needed to facilitate that process. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think dashboards are dead, and I think they're going to be strong and they're getting better over the next 3 or 4 years. But there are times when that's not the solution. And I think we can facilitate that much better now. And it's not just about AI per se, but obviously AI is an enabler and a facilitator of that. That was my key takeaway, because I didn't think that was going to be my takeaway.
Chris, what was your key takeaway?
I think one of the things that I really want to see going forward is, there's been a lot of talk about Tableau Next. I've been neck deep in Tableau Next and a lot of the AI aspects. I really want to see more out of Tableau Server and have that be a part of the AI story, because if one of the metrics that I had seen talked about and I bloated about quite a bit is that 70% of Tableau's revenue or sales really are revolving around Tableau Server. So not cloud, but server. And so AI is very enticing, obviously. There's a lot of new stuff and I talk about it daily, but I don't want people to forget where they came from as far as the base of what Tableau Server really is and what we can do in Tableau Desktop, the desktop to server communication. Yes, cloud is exciting, but not every client, not every customer wants to be in the cloud and they're afraid to be in the cloud. But you can't basically tell them they're not going to get these capabilities because they're not in the cloud. So you don't want to alienate a group of people who have been really pretty much non-supporters to allow Tableau and Salesforce to get to this point. So you want to make sure that we allow them to continue along with the AI ride, and that means making things available on server. And Souther has been doing a tremendous amount of work in that, and the team he works with to make sure that that story is told. I just think it needs to be told more often with a louder voice to let people understand that they don't have to, make a choice. I think there's a perception out there, whether it's correct or not, that we either need to abandon server and go to cloud in order to get this or not. Would it be easier on cloud? Yeah, but I think there's a lot of story left to be told on the Tableau desktop to server aspect of life. And I think that needs to continue to be told more with a spotlight on it, because you have a whole bunch of hungry old schoolers that I'm not afraid of the new stuff, but please don't take the old stuff away from me, because it's really damn good and effective. Let's not forget that. So
it's not just the old school either, is it, Chris? I mean, there are many organizations which struggle to move to cloud.
Yeah.
I've got clients who are what they call air gapped on their servers, right? They don't touch the internet ever for good reason. So you're absolutely right. The server is always going to be a requirement for those.
So, yeah, I mean, that would be the only thing. And it's not saying that they're not doing that now. I just think they need to underscore it a little bit more, because you never want to feel that you're the people who built up Tableau to this point to be recognized here are left behind and not listened to, because I'm a server dude through and through. I mean, I see these dang installations in my sleep at times. So, I mean, I want to share with my customers what you can do with servers still, and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, you can't get this until I plan this upgrade for you. And then as soon as you use the word upgrade, it's almost like a brick wall has been set in front of your path, because, oh my gosh, we have to plan this upgrade, and it's going to take a year and a half or so, and all that jazz. And then momentum's gone. So, yeah.
Neil, what's your biggest takeaway from DataFam Europe?
I think my biggest takeaway was simpler than that, really. And my biggest takeaway was that the Tableau isn't going anywhere, and that DataFam Europe isn't going anywhere, and that it's going strong. And I say that under the context that I don't think we thought that a couple of years ago. When Tableau was taken over by Salesforce, the first conference after that, it felt like a Salesforce conference. The branding had changed. The Tableau was minimized. The way that it was run, everything, the people in the Salesforce cuddly costumes, the leaves, the everything. It just felt a little bit. I don't know. It felt like Tableau was losing its identity, and I feel like it's back. I didn't feel like it didn't feel like an offshoot of a Salesforce conference at all. Everybody there was a Tableau person, whether they were from the company itself or whether they were there as a user, and I felt a lot of reassurance about that. So regardless of the content or the direction or that kind of stuff, I felt a lot more that Tableau was here to stay. And again, when Salesforce took over Tableau, we as visionaries occasionally had the chance to ask what we wanted, and we would push hard for European conferences, and there was no promise that they were going to continue. They didn't for a while. And I think we have been listened to. I think the identity is strong, and the presence in Europe and London is strong. And not only did I feel that, but I felt that it was going to continue to be strong for at least the next year or two to come. Of course, things evolve. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that Tableau were bought by Salesforce, but as someone who's so invested in Tableau, it was quite a I wouldn't say a scary time a few years ago, but it was an uncertain time, and you wonder how that's going to affect the passion that you have for the product and potentially the career that you have using that product. But I don't feel that anymore, and especially coming back out of that conference, having not been to the major conference in the US for the last couple of years, but having been to many of the others, it was good to get that reassurance.
Was there a session that you really liked and provided you with the most value? I should ask. Neil, I'll go with you first this time. Was there a session that you
He's going to steal my session. You're going to steal my session. I know you.
Steal it. I can feel
He's going to steal it.
Well, the second best session was the I enjoyed more than perhaps more than I thought. There was a session by crikey, now I remember she'd come over from Tableau and her first name was Esther, and I apologize, I can't remember her surname. And I sort of went into it not expecting sort of much, because it was a talk on AI, and it was a very sort of general talk on AI. And at first I thought, well, hang on, how is this related to Tableau? But it kind of it all made sense as it came through to the end, and it all sort of made sense with my own thoughts, my own views on perhaps where AI is going. And it really just, rather than being Tableau specific, it was a really good talk on how it was important just to keep the user and the human element within AI. And I from a talk where I started thinking, where is this going? I came out thinking, oh, there's some great ideas here that I would like to think about and hear again and bring into some of my own talks. So I always think that, like I know if I go to Steve's talk, I'm going to enjoy it. I know if I go to a talk on Tableau tips, I'm going to enjoy it. If it's going to be I loved Shazira's talk, I love Prasan's talk. There are things that I know are going to be me, but I don't know if I'm going to learn things, but I'm just going to really enjoy being immersed in them. But I think sometimes my favorite talks are the ones where I came out of thinking, oh, actually, that was better than I thought. That's kind of damning with faint praise, but you know what I mean, where you come out with a learning, albeit small, that you didn't think you were going to go in for. So it was a nice combination of those kind of talks, the familiar and the new.
Chris, was there a session that you liked and got the most value from DataFam Europe?
It's hard to. If I'm just being focused on what I came there for from like a shopping list perspective, because every session I went to, I can honestly say, was beautifully written up and beautifully presented, whether it be on specific topics or just talking about how to get involved in their involvement in the community. Every session that was just mentioned, as well as, I came there trying to get a better understanding on MCP and how I can use that and how I can interact that with the Tableau server, like part of what I did. The hands-on session with MCP, that's something that I couldn't get at TC in San Diego. That was about an hour and a half of actually working with real data, playing with MCP. That's you don't get that, because if you get back to your office and try to set aside an hour and a half to do anything without being bothered, you're getting pings from the universe, and then everybody has squirrel mentality and you have to listen to them. You don't have that. So I'm always about hands-on things, because that's the quickest way to reinforce anything that's new. Just get in there and do it. You're always going to remember that journey. So, along the same lines, like I mentioned to you before about trying to keep Tableau server relevant, I'm looking at learning more and trying to dive into MCP and really figuring out how that can solve some use cases for my existing clients, as well as potentially new clients who are looking to just get into the Tableau experience. So, like I said, every session I went to was very informative, and I got a lot out of it. And I want to make sure something's really clear. I may have mentioned about wanting to focus more on old school Tableau or Tableau Classic, people would call it. I'm very happy with what DataFam Europe put together. It was exceeded any expectations I already had. So, but I just wanted to underscore that point. That's all.
Steve, was there a get the Excel out of here?
Nothing could touch upon that. No, but in all seriousness, I'm so glad you guys didn't choose my session that I found the most valuable on me. And it comes down to expectation, doesn't it, to an extent? So, for example, some people you're going to turn up to, and you're going to know it's going to be a good session, right? So you have that expectation. And with that in mind, I turned up to one session with high expectations, and I was still blown away. And that was Tristan Gullivan's session. It was phenomenal. Not just how he presented and the story he took us through, but everything that he's been doing with La Data Viz and Jessica over the last couple of years was just phenomenal. And showing us the future, because basically he was showing us the future in terms of the APIs that are going to be opened but haven't yet been opened yet because they're still working out some of the intricacies of doing that. He's been given the opportunity to play with that capability, knowing that it will come, and the things that he was showing there were phenomenal. So for an example, which I think got loads of wows from the audience, but me included, was the ability to see what other people are doing on their Tableau desktop. Mm-hmm. And he's dragging something and he's playing with it and interacting with it, so you could actually share the actual same desktop and from a training perspective, wow, how useful is that going to be? Because trying to explain to people what to do on their own screen is pretty tricky sometimes, right? So breaking down those barriers, but also being able to increase the collaboration capability, I thought was phenomenal. But beyond that, I mean, some of the things that they were showing were really, really, really good. And it's a two-person team. You know, it's incredible the stuff that they're kicking out. The number of extensions they've got, well worth taking a look at if you haven't seen it.
I attended one of Tristan's sessions at TC 2025. He's a good presenter, so that's awesome.
Yeah, in a second language as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, can I just add? I think his session was recorded. If anybody's interested.
Oh,
in looking at that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job recording a lot of stuff. So if you were not able to go to DataFam Europe, definitely go out the Salesforce site and look for them. Just sign in. It's very informative. Very informative.
That session is one definitely to go back and look at, because you will get sessions like that where what you actually gain is from the experience of being there, and you remember that you saw and heard awesome stuff. And maybe it's just me and the way my brain works and my age, but to actually get it all, you need to go back and watch the recording again. But to get enough of a takeaway to think, this guy is good, this stuff is exciting, that content has got me thinking, you know, that's what you get from being there. And then if you get a chance to go back and watch recordings again, then you get the full experience. And, you know, in Tristan's case, there was 2 hours of stuff there and a half-hour talk. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you use the pause a lot or slow him down. But yeah, it's an amazing talk. Note
to self: watch Tristan's session. That sounds awesome. Was there any topics that you would like to see at a future one that wasn't covered in this session? I'll just let anybody go. Was there anything there that you?
Well, it's not essential. What I really like to see at a conference, and what they've been very good at most times, but not every time, is a great keynote that isn't necessarily about Tableau. Something adjacent, something to get you excited on that first day, a big name. You know, we've had some big names come in and talk at Tableau conferences, both in Europe and in the US. And to me, that's just it's like a cherry on top. It's like what can make an amazing conference even better. And you know, we even had we had Natalie Nihal come and speak at the last one. So it's something that we've done previously. And obviously we've had people like Hannah Fry talk, we've had people like Bill Nye Science Guy, Adam Grant, all sorts of interesting people over the years. And I think, yeah, I mean, that's something I think would make something that was great even more great. I appreciate, you can't have everything, and that's an expense and a timing thing. But I think you asked, and that's what I'd like.
Chris or Steve?
I'm going to jump in, Chris. I'm going to jump in. I've just made up a concept. I've just decided it's a good concept. So the majority of the presentations at DFE were absolutely by the DataFam for the DataFam, and I think we all enjoyed those. There was a few which the keynote, for example, is very much a Tableau thing. And we see it at TC, we see it at the DataFam, and I don't have an issue with that, right? They have to push the future, and that's what the keynote is all about. What I'd like to see is a keynote revisited session, which is, this is what we promised you last year. Let's have a look at it in reality now and see how far some of those things did actually get. Because they're talking about the future. Let's look at that keynote revisited from a previous session and see where it's actually taken us and what's implemented. Because we do see things like the Tableau ideas coming up, and they show us these brilliant slides where we see all of these ideas came from the community. That's fantastic. And that is definitely driving a lot of the product innovation. But I'd like to see what they talked about last year in practice. So for example, they talked about the OSI, which is the open semantic interchange. And I'd like to see that next time in practice and where it's gone, how far it's gone. And I'd like to see a lot more about that open semantic layer and what the benefits are, for example.
Chris?
Yeah, the semantic layer, that's sort of the bridge between what we would have with our...
Come in.
Yeah.
Who's got delivery? Is that you, Chris?
No.
It's me, but yeah, I have the doorbell.
It's your daughter, the taxi. She needs money for the taxi.
Because I usually see somebody coming through my front door at the window right here. I think understanding more about the semantic layer and how it can be helpful within our Tableau environment is really key. Again, I think something that they could possibly do, Salesforce could do, is the hands-on session. Like, keep talking about that, because that's really how you're going to get adoption. The whole point of what we're doing here in Tableau, Classic, Cloud, Tableau Next, whatever, is that you've got to get people touching the tool. A lot of these keynotes will have us, watching what's being done, but will it solve my use case? Yes or no? And the only way you can do that really is to have a hands-on event or work exercise to really play with it yourself. And because when you come back from a conference of this nature, they're going to ask you what you learned. And if you could say, I actually touched this product and worked on this, and it can solve this problem that we have, then that's going to resonate. So essentially, the working session that we have at DataFam Europe with the MCP, I'd like to see more of that actually, and not have to be charged a class amount. We should have more of that at TC, period. It should be one of the breakout sessions, and do stuff like that. Using will encourage adoption. And, as far as the keynotes go, I'm always big on energy for keynotes or speaking. You're kicking off something, kicking off the event. You want to have everybody completely jazzed up, energized. It doesn't have to necessarily be Tableau to start, but it needs to be, you need to bring the power, so to speak, and get people like ultra excited, whether you're dealing with 600 or 6,000 or 12,000. Just keep doing that, or do that a little bit more. And anybody who comes in to speak needs to have that same level of intensity and energy. That would be the only thing that I would say, but more hands-on is always a good thing. I'd rather hear more hands-on type of things than just slideshow hell on what a customer did. Because unless there's a live demo with it, because we see enough slides.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Audience interaction. Woo! Yeah. It's a concept.
So, I mean, that would be the only thing that I would do. And it's not like saying that, again, it's not saying that DataFam Europe did this and board me this because he sure as hell did. I'm just saying what I'd like to see is take some of the real strengths that you had in DataFam Europe, because it's a smaller subset, and then bring that over to TC. Because that's how you're going to get adoption naturally. You got to get this DataFam excited, and that's how you do it. You let them touch and play with things, because we want to do things.
Awesome.
Sorry, John. There's one more thing I want to see at DataFam Europe next year, and that's Dawn Harrington. I want to see you over there.
We don't have enough Dawn in our life doing.
We don't. You're absolutely right.
I've been trying to get her to be like, go, come on.
But do we have the budget? I hear she only gets out of bed for 10 grand. You know?
Well, you're talking about vibrant keynote speakers now. I mean, come on.
You got a number. I didn't get a number.
We need that energy. Yeah.
10K. You have to work on that. You got to talk to your publicist here.
I told someone on campus if he ever needed someone to wear a hot dog suit, I'll do it. You know. So if DataFam Europe, if you're listening and you need someone to wear a hot dog suit, I will do that for you to get the crowd going. It's fine. I'll do it.
That could work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Birmingham at the moment, Dawn, and we've got the Christmas markets outside, so there's hot dog suits all over the place.
There you go.
You could blend in quite nicely.
Neil, I separately, the famous cheese wheel thing that happens. Is that Birmingham? Is that Birmingham?
No, well, the cheese run down the hill is from a small place outside of Cheltenham, which is a little known place where I happen to grow up. So I'm all about the cheese rolling. I haven't rolled the cheese myself. I'm more about I prefer to eat cheese than roll it. As
you're not a cheese chaser.
By my waistline. Yeah, but it's a thing. It happens every Maybank holiday.
So Chris, they have cheese wheels that roll down the hill and everyone chases them. So I just bring it up after the hot dog costume because I would wear a cheese wheel costume if that was me. I'm throwing that out there.
I've seen that. I've seen that on Sports Center actually around here. That just seems to be a commercial for concussion protocol.
Okay.
Because I'm watching these people roll down the hill. And they can't control their velocity.
It would be a very good commercial for concussion protocol if there was any concussion protocol. They've been doing it for many centuries before the advent of health and safety.
No, but I'm watching these people tumble. You can't control this. It's like, I mean, you can think you can, but you're.
Well, I have to disagree, Chris. I mean, Dawn will tell us this, but I think the same person won it twice in a row, right? Isn't that true? So there must be a skill to it.
I think if all your broken bones can recover in 10 or 11 months, then you can keep going back and winning. Yeah.
But there must be a skill to it, right? There must be.
That's got to be a meme somewhere. There's got to be a meme of that somewhere.
So you talked me into it. I'm seriously thinking about DataFam Europe next year. Cheese wheel costume or not. It sounds like it would be beneficial to go. It really sounds like a cool smallish venue environment.
We don't know where it's going to be next year, Dawn. If you're the keynote speaker, it could be a big venue. You never know.
If I'm the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
If you're the big cheese.
If you're the big cheese, exactly. Yeah.
The big cheese. Oh boy. Well, thank you for attending and providing all of your feedback about DataFam Europe. You've sold me. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we sign off? Anybody?
No. Let's say happy holidays, everybody. Be safe in this season. Have fun with you and your families. And let's get it in 2026.
Awesome.
I couldn't
All
put
right.
it better myself. Absolutely. Happy holidays. It's not a phrase we say in England very often, but we're online, so I'm going to say happy holidays as well.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Take care.
Pleasure
Bye.
to see you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.